Who will police Nigeria? The Nigerian policing dilemma, a nation at a crossroad. Nigeria is a nation under siege. From the forests of Zamfara to the highways of the south, the specter of insecurity looms large. Banditry, kidnapping, insurgency, these are not just headlines. They are being seriously combated by the government. Yet, they are a lived reality for millions. At the heart of this crisis is a single failing institution, the Nigeria Police Force. Overwhelmed, underfunded, and plagued by a deep crisis of trust. The centralized police force has proven incapable of protecting its citizens. This failure has ignited one of the most consequential debates in Nigeria's history. Is it time to dismantle the current structure and empower individual states to create their own police force? This is not just a question of security, it's a question about the very nature of the Nigerian state. To understand the stakes, we must first look back, not to the dawn of independence, but to the moment the Nigeria police was born, because its DNA was never about public safety, it was about control. The foundation of the force. The Nigeria Police Force was not created by Nigerians for Nigerians. It was forged in the crucible of colonial conquest. Formations like the Hausa Constabulary and the Niger Coast Constabulary were not civic services. They were paramilitary units designed to do one thing: enforce the will of the British Empire. Their job was to protect colonial economic interests, suppress dissent, and pacify a conquered population. The policing model exported to Nigeria was deliberately repressive, a stark contrast to the citizen aid model developing in Britain at the same time. The origin story is the key to understanding everything that followed. The police force was built on a foundation of protecting the regime in power, not the people. When Nigeria gained independence in 1960, the new leaders inherited this structure and its ethos wholesale. For a brief period, the First Republic experimented with a decentralized system. Regional police forces existed alongside the federal one. In theory, it was true federalism. In practice, it was a disaster. Regional politicians quickly captured these local forces, turning them into private militias to harass, intimidate, and torture political opponents. This short, brutal experiment left a deep scar on the national psyche, creating a powerful historical argument against state police that echoes to this day. When the military seized power in 1966, they saw these regional forces as a threat to national unity. They were systematically disbanded, and all the policing power was centralized under a single command in Lagos and later Abuja. The public justification was unity. But for the military regimes that followed, a single unified police force served another, more critical purpose. It was an indispensable tool of authoritarian control. This is the dual legacy we live in today. A police force born of colonial oppression and solidified by military decree. A force that has never truly been the people's police. Let's look at the anatomy of a systemic failure. The call for state police today is a direct response to the manifest failure of this centralized model. The system is not just broken, it is structurally incapable of providing security. Let's start with the numbers. Nigeria has roughly 370,000 police officers for a population of over 200 million. This is a ratio of 1 officer for every 595 citizens, far below the UN's recommended minimum. But the reality is far worse. A staggering 80% of these officers are not protecting the public. They are assigned as personal security to VIPs and politically connected elites. This leaves a skeletal force of less than 100,000 officers to protect the entire country. This manpower crisis is matched by a financial one. The force is chronically underfunded. Police stations routinely lack basic supplies like pens and paper. Patrol vehicles are often grounded, with some allocated as little as $2 a day for fuel. Officers are forced to ask crime victims for money to fund their own investigations, a practice that breeds corruption and destroys public trust. Then, There is a command and control paradox. State governors are called the chief security officer of their state, but this title is meaningless. They have no operational authority over the police commissioner in their own state. That commissioner reports to the inspector general in Abuja, who reports to the president. In a crisis, a governor cannot command, they can only request. This creates fatal delays and a massive accountability gap. But perhaps the most profound failure is the crisis of legitimacy. Decades of corruption, brutality, and impunity have shattered public trust. The NSAS protest of 2022 was a national referendum on this broken relationship. Effective policing depends on intelligence from the community, but how can citizens cooperate with a force they fear? This has created a vicious cycle. A lack of trust leads to a lack of intelligence, which leads to more insecurity. This, in turn, leads the police to use more coercive and brutal methods, further eroding trust. The centralized system is trapped in the death spiral. Now let's look at a great debate. Proponents argue that state police is the only way to break this cycle. Their case rests on three core pillars. First, the proximity principle. Policing is most effective when it is local. Officers recruited from the community understand the language, the culture, and the terrain. They can build relationships and gather intelligence in ways an outsider never could. This will transform policing from an act of enforcement on a community to a partnership with the community. Second, the federalism question. A single national police force is an anomaly in a large, diverse federal country. Major federal democracies like the United States, India, and Australia all have decentralized, multi-layered policing systems. The current structure is a relic of military rule, not a feature of true federation. And three, accountability. A local police force is more accountable to the people it serves. Citizens can hold their governor and state representatives directly responsible for their security. But the path to devolution is perilous. Opponents raise three powerful, historically grounded fears. The most potent is the specter of political capture. Drawing on the memory of the First Republic, they warn that governors will turn state police into private armies to hunt political rivals. And the most potent is the specter of political capture. Drawing on the memory of the First Republic, they warn that governors will turn state police into private armies to hunt political rivals and rig elections. In a political culture with weak checks and balances, this is a very real danger. Then there is the financial quagmire. Many Nigerian states are already struggling to pay salaries. Can they afford the immense cost of funding a modern police force? The risk is creating 36 underfunded, ill-equipped, and even more corrupt police units, decentralizing dysfunction instead of solving it. I hope the English there wasn't too big. Anyway, finally, there is the threat of national unity. Critics fear that state police could be dominated by majority ethnic groups and used to oppress minorities. In a nation with deep ethnic and regional fault lines, this could become a powerful driver of conflict, potentially empowering secessionist movements and leading to the balkanization of the country. Now, here's my conclusion. It's a perilous necessity. Nigeria is caught in a profound dilemma. The centralized police force is a catastrophic failure. The status quo is unsustainable. Yet the most logical solution, state police, carries immense historically validated risks. For decades, this dilemma created political paralysis. But today, something has changed. The sheer scale of the security crisis has forged an unprecedented political consensus. The presidency, the state governors, including for the first time a unanimous endorsement from the Northern Governors Forum, are all aligned. The legislative wheels are in motion. This presents a rare window of opportunity, but simply creating state police forces is not enough. That will be repeating the mistakes of the past. The only viable path is to treat this reform as the centerpiece of a much broader project of state building. The creation of state police must be tied to a fundamental reform of Nigeria's fiscal structure, ensuring states have the resources to succeed. It must be accompanied by a strengthening of judicial independence to check police power, constitutionally protected oversight bodies to ensure accountability and protect human rights. The choice before Nigeria is not simply between a federal or a state police force. It is a choice between repeating the failures of the past or finally building a new security architecture and a new social contract founded on the principle that the police must serve and protect the people, not the powerful. The safety of a nation hangs in balance. Do you love this video? I have many more on YouTube at Popcentral TV. Or check our quick article and Instagram carousel for a fast breakdown. You want to go deeper? Go deeper with our interactive web analysis or download full research PDFs at popcentraltv.com. I'm Olayinka Obebe, bringing you Newsense every day on Popcentral DStv 189. Follow us everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, X. Ask me to explain anything. Okay? Go to YouTube and watch. Stay sharp.
Just so you know, this is for information only and not advice. Some details or policies might have changed by the time you're watching this.